have donated their time into being judges for the McKinsey case, and so if they each want to introduce themselves.
Sure. Hi, I'm Bruce Bradford. I don't know, I think this is probably the 5th year that I've been involved in mentoring here. I took a couple of years off, so if you haven't seen me before, that's why. But love this program, and I'm with the North Dallas Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, I'm Mo Moore. I am actually an alum here. I've been involved with the university off and on since I graduated many years ago from a place called North Texas State. And this is my first year being involved with mentoring.
Hello, my name is Andrew Sanderson. I'm an entrepreneur in finance and banking here in Dallas. I, much like class, was late for this, so I apologize. But I've got a couple of mentors here. I had Hassani last year and got Caesar this year, so looking forward to a good competition. Good to meet y'all.
Alrighty, if Tola's cluster presenters want to come up here and
quick announcement. You get 2 minutes, and there's a timer, so whatever you say in 2 minutes is what counts. Tola's our timer. Dana White over here on the end. One thing I do want you to do is take a real deep breath. This is not graded. This is not, we're kicking you out of PLP if you do a bad job. This is to test you and make you grow, okay? That is it. So growing in your teamwork, growing in your ability to resolve conflict, to communicate with people, that is what we want you to get from this. Not how do you financially prepare to make a merger in India and what marketing person should be your face. That's not the point. So any of you that are like super stressed right now, take a big deep breath. And then before Billy gets here, I want to tell you, as a surprise for him, he's 66 today. So we're going to celebrate, and we have a big old cake. So you can also exhale because you get fed tonight. So, all right, all things good. So you get 2 minutes. So Tola's team will go ahead and get on up here. We're going to try to move as quickly as possible. And then the other thing, once all of group 1, y'all are group 1, are finished, you do not have to stay for the second group. You're welcome to, but after we eat cake, you're welcome to hang out or head out, okay? So you should have a few minutes of extra time tonight to do homework and sleep, because you all look sleep deprived. All right? Okay, cool. All right, Tola's group, let's get on up here.
Asia Phillips, Senior Logistics and Supply Chain Management major with a minor in Spanish.
Amanda Reese, Finance major, Spanish minor.
So as McKinsey consultants, we have produced solutions to align with the goals of Fashion Corp, which include achieving a sales growth of 3% in a matter of 2 years. And as a way to expand the market growth, Fashion Corp has considered moving their market to India.
We've reached the conclusion that we should not move our business to India. The following reasons: because we would not reach our goal of 3% in 2 years. It would be too much risk for Fashion Corp to take on in their position, and obtaining the resources to get into rural areas of India would be too costly. So our solution to bring to the table is to foster the growth for Fashion Corp by cutting costs and using an activity-based costing system that would manage their waste and improve allocation of resources for efficiency and profitability.
Secondly, our solution has been to market to a new demographic of the U.S. population, and that would be to enter the children's market of shampoo. And our reason for this is that there isn't necessarily a dominant brand in the market for shampoo for children, so Fashion Corp would face less competition. Lastly, we recommend a change of marketing strategy and not using celebrities as a form of endorsement. And our reason for this is that celebrities are kind of high risk in the sense that we can't really monitor the things they say out in social media, and they can say things that are disparaging to the public. So in that sense, we really want to protect Fashion Corp's brand and not add additional risk.
In conclusion, we want to cut costs by using activity-based costing, appeal to children, and developing marketing strategies such as removing our endorsements in celebrities.
So after careful consideration of Fashion Corp's interest to move into India, we believe that they should just keep their healthcare market within the United States.
So I'm guessing this is one of the smaller teams. Do you have others that are on the team as well?
Yes, you are sitting behind you.
Okay, okay. How did you reach the decision as a team? Because if there were multiple folks, how did you work that out?
Definitely utilized GroupMe and other social platforms. We met up on the weekends to help organize all our ideas collaboratively.
What challenges did you face in doing that, whether they be logistical, related to using technology, or just the butting of heads?
People are really busy. We have a lot of really successful people in our group, so they have a lot of different organizations. So working around other people's schedules and making sure that other people get all the information that they need to, and everyone's contributing, and we're listening to each other. It was challenging, but we overcame it. So
We also had a Google Doc, so everyone got to add their ideas in
Good.
and edit it.
With regard to the communication on your team, what elements do you think were the best and worked well for you?
The Google Doc with everybody uploading their documents and their PowerPoints with good ideas.
Tell me about a time that you guys disagreed and how you came through that to your final conclusion.
I would say deciding whether you want to stay in the U.S. market or want to into the market. It was just really being open to listening to others' ideas, because I initially wanted to be in the same market in India, but just have to listen to others' ideas.
So through listening, I mean, how did you resolve that? Was there a dominant point that led to the decision, or was it?
Yes. Also, Amanda did calculations and showed that it would also be best to stay within the U.S. market.
How do you think you'll apply the analytical skills you use to help you accomplish your personal and professional goals?
Well, the analytical of calculating revenue and that sort of thing, that sort of hard data was really important, but also we take into consideration like putting up business, like the logistics, the qualitative aspects of the problem, and really looking at the problem as a whole instead of just numbers, raw number data, and also what problems they arise with marketing, which is more of a social aspect, and that was a problem that we ran into as well.
And how do you think those will apply to accomplishing your personal goals?
You would take, like if you were getting an offer at a company or something, you would take careful consideration of the qualitative, how you fit in the company, and also the salary, and really weighing qualitative versus quantitative.
Relocation too.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Great, thank you.
I think I'm on.
Yep.
One down, way to go, guys. Told you it wasn't that bad. Come on, guys, stop. I'll keep you in a hurry.
Good, we get to see all of you, that's good.
Hey, how you guys doing? My name is David. Young High. David.
Name is Calvin, senior time major.
I'm Sarah Stevenson, I'm a senior finance major.
Charlene Pavel, MBA Operations and Supply Chain Management.
Emmanuel Armat, junior accounting major, first minor. Michelle McDowell, HR major, and I'm a junior, sorry. Okay. So after much discussion, discussion, and I mean a lot. We finally decided for our group to not go to India, but instead to stay in America. We felt like there were just too many issues in America that we needed to tackle first. We were like, how can we go into India if we have so many problems here? If we go into India and we still have all these problems, what are we going to do? We're still going to have the same problems. One of the problems that we felt like we had in America is that we're losing touch with our customer base. We really want to connect with the younger consumers, and so we want to use half of our $50 million budget into a new marketing campaign, like a social media campaign, to really get in touch with those younger consumers for the shampoo. Another issue we want to tackle is the cost of raw goods. We feel like it's rising so fast, and our manufacturing costs are just going up and up. So we want to maximize our profits by finding a cheaper alternative, but it's not going to take away from the quality of our product at all. So in order to do that, we're going to stay in America, focus on finding those cheaper alternatives by putting the other half of our budget into research and development. We researched going into India, but we found that when starting a business in India, the cost is actually so high that it would mainly take all of our budget. And it's not like we're going to leave America and we're going to India. We still need to fix these issues. So we decided just to stay at home, focus, fix the issues internally, and plus we already have 35% of the American shampoo market, so we're already ahead of the competition.
So how did you reach the decision as a team? This is a big team, and lots of different majors.
Yes. So we all had our discussion, everybody together, we were spending time here. The most challenging thing that we felt was to meet up together. So we took a vote, and that's how we reached a conclusion. So there was like a majority of the people wanted to stay back here, and so that's what.
Okay. So did you meet up together, or was this done virtually?
It was done more of in over here the time we had.
Okay.
Yes, we reached our decisions over here.
Okay.
What were the elements of communication that you thought were the best for your team?
Google Docs, that's what we were using. So that's a virtual way of communication we found was the best way. And we were also using the GroupMe on the chat. So we were just communicating and informing each other, look, this is the idea we have got, and that's what we were sharing.
Okay.
Secondary to that communication, more so than how you communicated, what was communicated? How did you guys use the strategy and the analytics of the team and the different perspectives through Google Docs to come up with your decision? I mean, more so than just how you communicated.
Well, as I said previously, that we got to our decision over here. So it was more about how to get the documentation done. That's what we were using more on the GroupMe and the Google Docs too.
So can you tell me a time leading from that the team was, before you took the vote, that you guys were in disagreement? Was there any talk back and forth about individual sides and why one side felt
yes,
strongly?
we did have that. There was like the three of us who were in favor of going to India, and the rest of them wanted to stay here. So we debated about all the pros and cons on both sides, and that's when we came. And then when we were still not able to decide, that's when we took the vote, and hands down, America won. That's how we came to
Was it unanimous, or was that?
Yes, it was
Yeah,
unanimous.
it was unanimous.
It was. So when the decision was taken, it was supported by everyone. As such, I would like to add a small bit. Samantha and I, we both were in for India, but today we are the ones who are actually talking over here. So, yes.
Does that mean you lost the bet?
I don't see that as anything of that. I see that going with the team, working together as a team to be more important just than going with the decision.
Who else wanted to go to India?
One quick question, just because you made an interesting point. Cheaper materials, so the product that you guys are talking about, hundreds if not thousands of companies make soap, right? And it's pretty basic with the materials that you can and can't use and still be healthy. Is there an idea that you guys are going to gain a market share just by cutting cost, or is there some insight into why cheaper materials might lead to more profits?
It's not just cheaper material. When we say that, what we mean is to make our systems more efficient. So there are business processes which are involved where there is chances of improving it. So we therefore believe that 50 million, the half of it, is going to be used to make the system more, the business processes more efficient, and that's how we're going to gain the market again.
Also, as a leader in industry, it's easier to let you to reshape the structure of profit. And for the shampoo industry, actually, we don't have the power over buyer all the time. But the thing is, if we focusing on the younger generation, we want to gain some the power from the buyer. Actually, we want to do some more fascinating stuff like social media, or even for some like maybe coupon or like some like from the mobile outside, like mobile app, something like that. Okay.
What is it about going through this process and learning how to solve these issues is it that's going to help you with your personal or your professional goals?
I want to answer.
Go ahead.
So I would say I feel the whole process was important to learn the soft skills, because I think we all are learning the qualitative part of it, the quantitative part of it. What's important is how do we communicate with the teams, because when we are going to go ahead and work, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to get different personalities. So it's about functioning, how do you work together as a team. That's what we learn in this whole process.
Anybody else?
Very good.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Good job.
Victoria.
Where's the rest of your team? Get them down here. They don't get to be up there. The first team,
Yeah, they can stand behind.
first team got away with it. Not going to happen anymore.
Sorry, guys.
It's a team.
Okay.
My name is Joseph Bensto. I'm a senior in finance.
I'm Michaela Malika, I'm a senior PCI major.
I'm Kendall Desai, junior in entrepreneurship major.
I'm Sam Hudson. I'm a double major in decision science and behavior analysis junior.
Austin French, decision sciences junior.
After a detailed analysis, we came to a conclusion that Fashion Corp should manufacture and sell its products into the Indian market.
With that decision, it mainly goes off of the 0% growth in 2015, so we kind of plateaued in our market already. Along with our market research, we've shown to receive $210 million in revenue, and after the cost and marketing costs in India, it would yield a $46.8 million profit.
By selecting Priyanka Chopra as our recommended marketing candidate in India, we believe that Fashion Corp can effectively appeal the Indian market as well as the Indian Americans in the United States, which is a unsaturated market segment. We chose her because she is well known in both the markets. She's not only one of the top actresses in South Asia and has won several honorary South Asian awards, but she was also named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world, and she was the first South Asian woman to win People's Choice Awards for her lead role in ABC's drama series Congo.
With those reasons, along with our minimal success with our recent representative for our product, even Priyanka, we've decided to invest in production and sales in India. Thank you.
Thank you. So were you panicked at all about the first two teams choosing not to go to India? Or are you still good with your decision?
It was a thought, but we're still very confident in our decision, especially as they mentioned before, and I'm going to mention the quantitative part as well as the qualitative. The quantitative data shows numbers is we're going to yield a very large profit in India and take a good percentage of that share.
And you've heard the question. So the team dynamics. Yours is a smaller team than the last one we talked about. I'd have to think that probably makes things a little bit easier than the challenges that they may have faced.
You would think.
Yeah. How did that stack up for y'all?
So it stacked up very well. We did have main decisions on if we wanted to go in or not, but as Kinjal mentioned with Priyanka, after we looked up Priyanka, which was an outside choice for us, we really, that was one of the main reasons that helped us back, because we would be able to split the marketing costs in both America and India, since she's an internationally known icon and on the Times Top 100.
When you got together face to face, how did you communicate best?
I feel like we communicated best face to face in the majority. We didn't really spend a lot of time outside of our team meetings, so we worked very efficiently and effectively. If anyone had any problems, I think it was kind of like straightforward. They would voice their opinions. If there were any differences, we would kind of go through a problem analysis and see the pros and cons, and then try to work. If it's something that they have a strong opinion about something, we try to incorporate it into our plan. So.
One thing I'd like to add that was really easy is our team is really, the numbers always won. So anytime it came to like a difference in decision, we kind of took it really just to math, and that's why a lot of that stuff is just very analytical. Because it was really easy because the numbers always won whenever we kind of had anything to say.
Yeah, the two of us kind of like that, so.
Can you tell me about a time you guys disagreed, whether it was early on or late in the process, and what led to the decision really turning? I know you said it was about the analytical side, obviously from a BCS side. Can you tell me a little bit about the strategy from the numbers that made you tilt that direction?
Well, I mean, it was always whether to go to US or India. Not only was it quantitative about the numbers, we also had to decide our marketing strategies since we weren't growing in the United States, whether to move to India. It was just a lot of factors that came into play.
Also, the biggest thing that we looked at, because the biggest ascent started between, we wanted to go to India, and some of us wanted to stay in the States. So what we eventually decided on is the cost of changing our demographic market in the United States would have been too costly for us to actually reach our goals, because the way that we're primarily marketing, we've calculated a lot of millennials, we calculated a lot of kids, so we have two options: either to go to older market and try to become a premium brand, which would be just a complete nightmare if you look at marketing, if you look at just like the whole idea of restructuring your brand. And the whole idea was, if we stayed in the States, we'd have to restructure our brand. And that we didn't believe we could do effectively with our budget. We thought that if we went to India, we could still kind of keep the same brand structure, and seeing as how we're entering a completely different market, we'd see an exponential return from that.
Kind of going off of what he said, especially because in India there's a high demand for Western products, so that's why we thought that it would, we should go into the Indian market, and that's how kind of we came to the conclusion of selecting Priyanka Chopra, because that way, having her as a celebrity endorsement would not only affect the South Asian people, but also the Indian Americans in the United States and many other people that
Fans of Monica.
Which, with our previous endorsers, we were not hitting that market, so it was kind of too great of a concept.
What did you learn going through this process that was new to you that you're going to be able to use going forward when you're looking at how to accomplish things either professionally or personally?
I would say it sounds counterintuitive. Sometimes there's certain things that aren't qualitative. So like one of the biggest decisions was going with our celebrity endorsement. And like I said,
Was that your idea?
No, that was actually her idea. She was brilliant. She was brilliant. That was all her idea. And one of the things that I realized is there's certain things that maybe either you go with your gut or you kind of just trust, because there isn't a quantitative number that you can associate with it. But it's just like really trusting your team and really trusting the process.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Are y'all Andy's team? Yes. Is Andy on your team?
He's the lead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I've been trying to figure this out. Okay. Please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Robert Myers.
I'm Jeremy Lake.
And we are both representing ACI in a joint venture with Fashion Corp Industries. And our goal with Fashion Corp in this joint venture is to determine if it is worth Fashion Corp moving into the Indian markets to try and capture some of the shampoo shares that are available there. And based on our study and findings, we have determined that yes, it is a good idea for Fashion Corp to move into the Indian markets.
Currently, India is the second most populous country in the world, right behind China.
In 5 years, it's predicted that India's growth will surpass that of China and become the #1 populated country in the world. That translates into a 12% growth in the shampoo market in India for Fashion Core to get into.
And we plan to capitalize on that growth with an effective marketing strategy that utilizes both billboards, radio broadcasts, and celebrity endorsements by Ashaya Rai, who is a very famous Bollywood actress and claimed to be the most beautiful woman in the world. And this marketing strategy not only is cheap, but is highly effective at capturing the most viewers and audience for the cheapest price.
And although getting into India now may not net the desired 3% growth in the next 2 years that Fashion Core desires, the growth over the next 5 to 10 years is immeasurable at this point. And so therefore is our conclusion that is Fashion Core's best course of action is to enter the Indian market now. Thank you.
So let's segue from, just for a second on, kind of how you made the decision as a team. How did you make the decision to who are going to be the spokespeople? I mean, you've got a big team, and I'm sure that we've got a lot of A personalities here. And so how do you make that decision?
We volunteered.
Okay.
We'll do it.
We're standing in line, everyone step back.
Understand. What challenges, what were the biggest challenges that you faced in coming up with the solution?
I'd say the biggest challenge is that we're a very diverse group. We all have different majors, different backgrounds, and different opinions about how things should be done and how solutions should be met. So with this solution, I'm an engineering background, so my solution is direct, logical, solve the problem, fit. But the business majors, and like me saying, there are more solutions that could be presented, and there's alternative options that could be pursued. And so you always have to look at other options besides the most logical ones.
With such a large and diverse group, were you able to communicate face-to-face most of the time, or did you rely on electronic stuff?
Face-to-face, we maximized our time, our clutch time in the PLP, and we just talked and we put ideas out there, everybody get their information, we cross-talk, and at the end we all kind of decide on which course of action we want to take. So we maximized our clutch time, face-to-face time, and then we used GroupMe for ancillary stuff.
And what did you find worked best when you were together with the group to make sure that everybody's opinion was heard?
We would go through the topic of each session that we would go through, and we wouldn't really move on to the next selection until we reached the conclusion that we were all satisfied with. One of the issues that we had for a long time was talking about either price of the product or the celebrity endorsement, who to go with. We all had different opinions on where we would go forward, and so we eventually just had to say, okay, we're narrowed down to this, so these selections. What are we going to go for? How are we going to proceed? We did a vote, and we went with the option.
With a huge group like this, and obviously I'd love that real quickly, you guys tell us your names and your majors so that we can kind of know a little bit about it.
Alright, I'm Lauren Marine, business marketing major, minor in economics.
Quentin Gallegos, finance major, junior. Todd Rojas, finance major, minor in accounting, junior.
Robert, senior study mechanical engineering.
Jeremy, senior operations, supply chain management.
Tanya, junior account major.
Amanda Wong, TAM senior.
Tracy, human resources, junior.
So it sounds like you guys have got about the most diverse background and information. Tell me about one specific time that the team disagreed and what it was over and how you guys got to the point where you took the vote. What were some of the key steps you took?
I would say we never really came to too many disagreements. We kind of sat back and had an idea. We all kind of our own ideas and kind of put them together as a team, and then we kind of went on from there. Because even though we're all diverse, we all pretty much had the same mindset towards everything we was going for, such as really never came to too many conflicts. But whenever we did, we was able to figure it out, have the same mindset. So.
How was it resolved? How did you resolve that when you came to that conclusion?
Okay, well, since we do have many different backgrounds throughout the project, there was at a certain point where we said, oh, there's too many holes, maybe it's not a good idea to enter the Indian market, and from that we kind of just started weighing pros and cons with that. Everybody put in their opinion over that, and then we found that by pointing out the holes in our position, we were able to kind of tweak our argument to make it stronger, so we're closing up that gap. So it was just mostly about what are the commonalities that we find and kind of emphasize on that.
I I'd be interested in both Amanda and Chadwick's response to this. What was it about the business case, the consulting project that you learned that you think you'll be able to use going forward? And I just picking on you two since you seem to be the, you wouldn't think of kinesiology doing a lot of this, and I have a sister who has kinesiology.
See, my background occupation, where I was so for like the celebrity endorsements. My major is no more than marketing, kinesiology, training, whatever. I was all for the marketing, billboards and stuff like that, how to promote it and stuff like that, ideas like that. So that's pretty much my strong suit, marketing situation. That's pretty much how I went through it.
And what did you learn going through the process that you think will help you going forward?
Learning from that, I guess the backgrounds of everybody else, I kind of learned different ideas, being all around, such as like, let's say when it comes to like the business side and the finances and stuff like that, I kind of learned where their mindset is, why they did these certain numbers and stuff like that, and how to progress. So let's say we didn't get the 3% within 2 years, I kind of see where they're coming from, where it's going to progress after a certain 2 years or so.
What I learned the most from this is probably developing how to work with different people from different backgrounds. I think that's something you'll encounter in every field, whether you go into medicine, business engineering. So I think that's really what I gain most from this, is sort of collaborating with people and keeping an open mind and sort of coming to one conclusion despite different methods.
Anybody else have anything they want to share? What they learned?
As I said earlier, this is a little eye-opening for me because I'm used to just working with engineers in my degree, and just hearing most time we'll go okay, look at the numbers, look at the math, go from there. There's not really much math outside of production and whatnot. There's not much math in. Well, there was math in marketing, but it's like looking at what people like how you have to know the market, know the culture, know what people are going for. And that's something that I was like, never actually considered that before, like in a product or something like that, or a business side.
A little more of an art than science,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Callie?
Yeah.
Jack Patton, a senior decision science major at County Mine.
Tom Raffalove, I'm a senior BCIS major.
I'm Sean Gatosin, marketing major, and minor in advertising and senior.
Robert Thomas, a junior in the mechanical and energy engineering program. Jason Denton, senior marketing major.
Timon Fong, finance major, junior. Victoria DuBose, I'm an interior design major with a minor in home furnishings and marketing.
I'm Stephanie Ann, master's electrical engineering.
So for our group, when we looked at everything in the McKinsey case study, we saw all of the requirements of what Passion Corp you guys wanted to do. So you wanted to make 3% growth that second year, you wanted to increase your revenue, and then you have a $50 million budget. So we looked at everything, and for the first 2 weeks, we were all for it. We're like, yeah, it looks like a good idea. But then after we ran all the numbers, we looked at the celebrity endorsements, the marketing, the market share there. We decided that it's not going to really be worth for any of you to go into India, and you'll actually probably be losing profits, not getting anything out of that as well. So for the first point, Robert is going to hit you up with why we think you should go in.
Yeah, so the first problem that we found was that Fashion Corp would not be able to reach its goal of 3% growth in the first 2 years because their Fashion Corp has no established infrastructure behavior, as well as the market is already saturated with a lot of Indian shampoo companies, so there's not enough share for them in that market. And also, within 2 years, it's too small a time frame for them to actually grow themselves in the market.
And then so for the second point, we thought of that the corporations that are already established there, it's really hard to compete. There's 2 corporations right now, I'm not really 100% sure what the name is, I have it on my cards, and they make up 70% of the market share. They dominate the market, it's really ridiculous. So to walk in there and try to take a little bit off of them, it's a huge price war between those 2 companies. So to walk in and try to grab something in the first 2 years, it's going to be hard to grow at least 3%.
The cost of manufacturing overhead is not worth the profit Fashion Corp will be making within the Indian shampoo market. We are happy to discuss some of the alternatives that we feel Fashion Corp would become more successful in order to achieve that 3% growth that you are looking
So another very diverse team, lots of interesting backgrounds. What was the decision process? And I'm guessing probably much like everyone else, you guys assembled as a team. You talked about 2 weeks, one decision, and then changing, going off in a different direction. Give us some, pull us behind the curtain on that.
So the first 2 weeks when we were doing everything looked great. It's a growing population, everything looks great, and then it really looked like a day of good marketing. You have a good actor go with it. But when we ran the numbers, because we use GroupMe to look through everything, so we'd send numbers to stuff. We'd discuss more decision making together as a team when we're here, because it's a lot easier face to face, discuss something. But on GroupMe, we would put data and information that we would think would be important to this case. So when we looked through the information and the data, it figured out that it wasn't really worth it. A lot of the numbers that you would think would be significant really weren't. So when it comes to population, the population is going to, when the other groups talk about the population is going to increase, within the 5 years, well, that's true, the population is going to increase, but 70% of India is rural, but only 18% of that is what you can get out of it. So you only get around maybe 30% of the whole population is in the shampoo business for consumer-wise. So it's like you look at that, it's like, wow, it's really not a huge market from what you think from the population. So that's when we came to that decision. We're like, okay, we have to take a step back and look at this, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be worth it for us to actually go and career you guys.
What things happened during the team dynamic that demonstrated to you guys that you were communicating well and that you understood what the other team members wanted or what they were concerned about?
When we were together, the thing is that when you have a large group like ours that's so very diverse, each person can bring in their own resources. They each have their own viewpoint on the thing. So Steffi actually was really good when we had the marketing, who we're going to use as our marketer, the actress or actor. She knew right away all 4 people. She's like, oh, this one's really good. This one's the Brad Pitt over there. And so right away, it was her background was able to right away give us a good infrastructure on what we can stand on and who's a good and who's not. And then financial and then marketing. So everybody knew what they're doing. And so when we were together, we would always make sure that instead of just being like 2 or 3 people talking, oh, we think this would be a good idea, you would go around and, hey, what do you think and why do you think that? Instead of just, oh, do you agree with him? Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. So we want to make sure that we got everybody's ideas across and their logical arguments of why do you think that way and do you think it can work in another way as well.
And how does interior design play into this?
Well, I mean, I have to do problem solving as far as interior design goes, but it's different for this just because ours is more spatial, I guess. But I still have to back up problem solving.
And there might be some marketing opportunities in terms of point of sale and things like that you could bring great insights to. So.
I mean, it depends because there's different levels of what I can actually do with my degree. So I mean, I can do a much more marketing approach to it, but I don't.
Tell me about a time you guys disagreed. Obviously, you had some background and you guys were leaning a little bit on a potential celebrity and going that route. Can you tell me about how you came to your decision and what led to resolving it?
For us, the 2 things that
you're fine. Let's grab somebody else. Anybody.
So as we had mentioned before, we have a lot of shampoo companies in India, and you might know that Indians are more inclined towards herbal shampoos. So we in some of our homes we grow our own shampoos. It's called shikaka. It's a powder. It's like a shampoo. So we have so many herbal products that are coming into the market right now, and we have a lot of such kind of shampoos that people root for now compared to the chemicals that are in the Western shampoos. When it's endorsed by a celebrity, it is like people want to buy it, but that's short-lived. After a few days, they just go back to their own herbal shampoo. So that was also one of the reasons why we decided that, okay, we do not know if we can get a 3% increase within the 2 years. If that's the case, if Indians do not like it, and then they're not going to buy it at all, and it's going to go into a big loss than a gain. So that was that's how, and also the population. It's not like the whole India does not use shampoo, like how in the US everybody uses shampoo. Since you grow plants at home and you have the shampoo at home, so most people would prefer it's towards your, once you're 18 or 19, that's when rural part of India people actually start using shampoo in the rural. So it's mostly just in the cities, so these 2 are the reasons.
Very good.
So obviously you had to look at cultural differences for many of you. in going through that, is there anything that sort of struck you as an aha? I've learned something that's going to help me going forward. No, okay.
Yeah, I can touch on that.
Okay.
When we first started, I'm finance background and decision science, so I was looking at trying to make it work from a growth percentage. What they said, they wanted 3% growth in the first 2 years. We were looking at $210 million in revenue. As a $20 billion company and 40% designated to shampoo, it was already about an $8 billion industry for Fashion Corp. So at $210 million in revenue, that's roughly 2.6% growth rate there. So to reach about the second year, they were going to have to jump their Indian sales by roughly 17.8%, off the top of my head, to around 240 million. So I'm looking at that thinking that's already kind of a stretch there. So I think her background definitely helped just kind of solidifying that with me mentioning these. We were looking at just dead population. Like population is going to grow, it has potential there, and that's why we flipped in the middle of it. Because she mentioned that a lot of the population is rural and they're actually not using shampoo. So I definitely think background played an important role in that.
Thank you.
Great job.
Brianna Martin, junior, pursuing an HR degree.
Rebecca Everett, marketing senior.
Christina Crow, accounting major, senior.
Stephanie, junior, operations supply chain.
Anthony Raw, senior, operations supply chain.
So we're part of Hama's Consulting Group, and our final decision is to stay in the U.S. and not go to India. The reason for this being is that the business and construction permits take about 6 months, and that's about a fourth of the time that we're trying to expand our market share. So we decided that to take that fourth of the time out of the equation and actually use the full 2 years to expand our market share. The second reason is that the U.S. cannot protect the intellectual property rights of companies over in India because they're a developing country, and that they lack the enforcement of IPR in the country. And the final reason is the success factors of companies that actually have moved over to India. Procter & Gamble failed miserably. They lost 2/4 of their market share of all their products.
The next issue that we want to address is how to increase our shampoo sales growth. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to partner with companies such as Goody Hair Accessories, like the little rubber band. And by doing that, we're going to try to bundle our products, so bundling the shampoo with the hair accessories. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to collaborate with hotels and salons. So not only can you enjoy your shampoo at home, now you can go to your favorite hotel and salon to see our shampoo product there. Lastly, we're going to direct our attention to focus groups and market segmentation, because we feel that after doing a lot of research and surveys, we learned that Americans from young adult to middle age need shampoo.
With all this in mind, we come up with 2 projected outcomes in the short term. Then we want our sales to finally break even. And specifically, we would expect our shampoo sales to rise 3% in a year, within the next 2 years, via improved customer satisfaction, as described earlier. For our long term, we want to actually be able to expand into India as a long term, but only after attaining economic growth. And finally, we want to
What were the challenges that your team faced on coming up with the decision process? You've got another diverse group of inputs in terms of majors and life experiences. Talk a bit about that. Talk about that.
Well, we are a diverse group. We were able to bring different aspects of our lives into the equation. And we did have some challenges deciding like what to do. We originally wanted to go to India, but then we debated and we really talked it out.
you identify something that occurred during this project that demonstrated you were communicating well with each other?
We decided to finally meet face to face, or not finally, we actually decided to meet face to face outside of our LPs on multiple occasions. I think that helped us a lot. Like, that's where we got a lot more work done, a lot more effectively, a lot more efficiently, through better communication and more private, and everyone was more comfortable voicing their opinion.
I think that when we were here in like the room with all the other people, we tended to just kind of get distracted, right? So being in like one room and being able to just talk it out and see each other face to face, and sit across from each other with like a desk in front of us and be able to find out our ideas.
Remember that when you set in endless meetings, okay? Just know there's a purpose somewhere. Tell me about a time you guys disagreed. You said originally you wanted to go to India. Tell me about what led to the decision to stay, and what really led to resolving that, whether it was something you knew or was it gut feeling, the numbers.
Based on what we did, how we resolved that is we did a vote. So about it was like a split decision. At first, my gut instinct told me, because I'm taking entrepreneurship class, and it told me that if your company is failing from other company, you shouldn't go off and make a baby company. If you make a baby company such as in India and you need more funds, if the mother company's failing, you can't bail out the baby company. So that's what we did, and basically taking everybody from Giles to Alex, to Rebecca, to just everyone down here. I can go on and on, but just getting everybody's influence on input on it, because really it was more like a chamber. You know how when we come together, the Senate comes together, we all have our different viewpoints. So just making sure that.
Yeah, but you guys got something done. Was there something that occurred during this that surprised you, that you now realize is something you can use going forward?
Look into the details, look more into it. I mean, at first I was more planning on India. I was saying US, but I was like, maybe there's a chance that we could get off the back of coming up. And then we did decide to start looking, some people with property, okay, local tolerance, it's okay, it took a long time. We looked at other companies that tried to do fair, look at consumer income. Something we previously talked about, the population that can actually afford this kind of, luxury for us.
Supporting your gut with facts. Yes, your gut is like what you should listen to ultimately, but you should back it up with that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Biology, and with a chemistry minor and Spanish minor too. Junior. Kyla Davis, communications major, marketing minor, senior.
Jake Reyna, BCIS major, junior.
Samir Liyala, electrical engineering, master's.
And we are Alignment Consulting. So after much discussion and debate, we have decided that it's in the company's best interest to stay in the American market and hold off on moving to India. And we decided that we want to focus on improving our marketing strategies and growing sales here. And so our reasoning behind this is basically so that we can focus on streamlining like manufacturing costs, so making sure that our product is quality and that's efficient, and that we really know how we're selling it in order to meet sales goals before heading to India. And to meet those sales goals, we'll be targeting celebrities who are on social media, entertainment, and sports. Who have great hair, obviously, to advertise our product, like the likes of Blake Lively, Matthew McConaughey, and David Beckham. We'll be changing up our approach to advertising by taking advantage of social media, YouTube ads, Twitter ads, Instagram ads, and of course commercials on major TV networks. We will be comparing manufacturing prices with that of other competitors so we can have the best cost but affordable to people and raw materials. We will also be making the product more appealing to the buyers by changing up the look of the product, maybe the size, the shape of the bottle, the fragrances, and the smells of the bottle, of the shampoo. And after we make those changes, we will get out samples to the American buyers, and we'll alter the product based on the feedback we get from the buyers.
And through these improvements, we project that we can reach the 3% sales growth in the next 2 years for a total of 6% over that time. And after we reach that growth, we believe that we should reevaluate then going into India and seeing if at that time our company has improved its efficiency, improved its product, and then is doing well enough here in the market that we are already in to be able to go into India and have success there.
Great. So it's interesting, and I don't know the full details behind the case, but it's interesting that everybody's looked at this as a very binary fashion. It's either stay or go. And I like the idea that y'all have kind of entered an additional possibility there. That right now we think it's stay, but let's look at this again in a couple of years. So how did you come to that decision? Was that universal, and who had that blinding flash?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we spent a lot of time sitting down, and every single person in the group brought out their own ideas and the reasons why. So someone would bring up an idea, and then we would talk about the pros and the cons as a group to figure out, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. I like where you were going, but let's alter that. So we just kind of came up that together that, why do we have to make it just one thing? We can, improve efficiency here, and then later talk about India, because essentially that's really what the company is asking us in their consulting group, so we kind of want to do what our clients want. So.
Well said.
Did you find there was any one way of communication that helped you the most?
I think just like the best communication we found is just letting everyone have a voice, have to say. So if you felt something when we were talking about a certain part of the case, go ahead, bring your ideas. So we were real open with each other, and through the process we really spent more time understanding each other's viewpoint and seeing how we could see our differences and how we view the specific situation, and then go from there.
So one of your solutions was some design changes and some branding changes here, which put the brand that's currently making money at a little bit of risk as you attract a new market. Was there, although you said you guys would consider in 2 years, was there any consideration as to why that risk was less than entering a new market, or was that something?
We looked into the Indian market, and we found that a lot of people in India don't necessarily use shampoo as much as the American people. So we thought about the unknown in India. Why do we want to go somewhere where we're not really familiar with when we know what the people here like? And we asked the girls in the group what they like about shampoo. We also talked about the size of the bottles and how it smells, and that was pleasing to them. So we wanted to work on that, and a lot of you guys were with it too.
Essentially, we wanted to come up with the idea of, I put out the idea that we wanted to see the research in this popular current brands in the United States and see what they were doing that they had in common. So not necessarily that we're going to copy them, but maybe do something a little similar, because that might boost our sales.
One of the big things also that was when we read into the case and to see that the sales growth really plateaued, when we looked at, okay, for sales growth that's plateaued, how can we differentiate ourselves from the other products in the market? How can we make ourselves stand out as we should be looking into the product that you want to buy?
And I think one of the reasons behind going to India was to help sales growth, but our reasoning was we can improve sales here in America, and India doesn't have to be the only solution in order to get there, but it could be a good solution down the line once we get to see this here.
What do you take away from this process as something positive to be able to use in your own life going forward?
It was really fun just getting to know everyone's point of view outside of the project and in our lives. So I think we got really close. So
And if I could add something onto that, I would say the importance of feedback. We were all giving our opinions. So everyone talked about collaboration and how every group is diverse. And I think you'll always be in a diverse group, no matter what industry or business you work for. So the ability to accept negative feedback and give back negative feedback, and then accepting that in a positive way, and then using that to go forward to create better work.
I think the fact that we did become such good friends, that helped us a lot more because we just felt comfortable enough to tell someone like, hey, that might have been not that great, or really good. Like this, I don't know, we had a lot of fun with it and got to know each other outside of the project, so I think that helped us to get to know each other's personalities, what makes us tick, why we think a certain way, what we've been through. So it's just everyone has a reason to feel the way they think, and I think by getting to know everyone individually, that helps us a lot.
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
All right, so we'll get the other group in.
All right, guys. So before you head out, I know we're going to get out so we're going to be giving out some cake. Before you head out, please join us in celebrating birthday.
One of the options they're considering is that, so I mean, right, they gave you so many, so it's interesting to see
I'll stay for that part.
Never done it, acquisition and it's already manufactured.
you guys so much. And when I walked out in the lobby, I could smell cake. It was this giveaway. I turned around like, man, this really smells like cake out here. Thank you guys so much.
That new Indian chick.
For sharing this with me.
Cake smelling.
And I appreciate it, and thanks for the judge today. So thank you guys. At some point in time, I guess maybe people should eat some cake.
You need to blow them out.
Deep breath. Yeah.
Math.
All right, guys, we're getting started in 6 minutes, a few seconds. Everything nice?
Okay, everybody. Today we're going to be doing the McKinsey Presentations. We have 3 lovely judges here who are our Philippine mentors. I know you guys already introduced yourselves, but you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Bruce Bradford. I'm, I think, 5th-year mentor here, and really love all that the mentorship program brings. You bring a lot to me, and believe me, I take a lot away. And I thank you for your time. I'm President and CEO of the North Dallas Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, I'm Mo Moore. I am a graduate, although of NTSU, not of UNT. And this is my first year being a mentor. After UNT, I went to law school, and I spent 30-some years practicing labor and employment law.
Hello, my name is Andy Sanderson. I'm a second-year mentor here. Caesar's my guy here at UNT that keeps me in track. So looking forward to hearing y'all's presentations. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and get started. So James is cluster. You guys are going first.
I'm keeping time with y'all, so as soon as you guys start talking, we can start.
No, not that. I'm not giving you a grade.
I'm good.
I already gave one. I just cheated since I saw it.
First time raising my hand, if there's anything, second time raising, I'll be at 30 seconds.
our team has been presented with the decision to whether for forest to decide whether foresters. Sorry.
Rewind.
Yes, rewind. To decide if Fashion Corp should or should not enter the Indian market. With Fashion Corp's East the capital market, we have decided that Fashion Corp should enter the Indian market to raise capital while sales have been declining at home and to grow those sales actually. With Fashion Corp's 2-year investment, we'll actually meet 175% of our targeted 2-year growth. With our marketing strategies that we have in place, we will be able to reach that goal. My partner Sheila would present those marketing strategies.
So as Cesar already explained, the research over the past few years shows that our shampoo sector is not growing with our current investments in the US and European marketplaces. These marketplaces are completely tapped out and our marketing strategies aren't working in these areas. However, if we apply these same marketing strategies to the Indian marketplace, we see potential for huge success because the use of celebrities in India to endorse products usually and most of the time succeeds in the Indian marketplace. With this in mind, our marketing team has suggested using Shah Rukh Khan as our celebrity endorsement to market our product in India. Shah Rukh Khan has been a star in the Bollywood world over the past few decades. He has starred in dozens of movies and he is known well across the country by various different demographics. If we use Shah Rukh Khan to market our product, not only will we reach our target audience, we will be able to expand beyond our target audience and sell to various demographics across the country. In conclusion, Fashion Corp should invest in the Indian marketplace because it has potential to significantly increase the growth of the shampoo market in India because India has been untapped by Western companies. Thank you.
We'll get each of you to introduce yourself and what your major is, so we know what the spectrum of the team is.
Great, I'm Elizabeth Redfern, I'm a finance student, and I'm graduating next May.
Jose Trujillo, kinesiology, allied health major.
Brittany Shavine, HR major, junior.
Cesar Ramirez, finance and data analysis with minor in econ.
Ashita Kumar, I'm actually a TAM student, but my plan major is chemistry.
Maureen Oriola, I'm majoring in psychology and I'm a junior.
Alfredo Aranda, I'm a sophomore and I major in accounting.
I'm Major Gobea, finance senior.
I'm Aditi Singh. I'm also a TAM student, and my planned majors are biology and psychology.
Great. So, diverse team, lots of interesting majors. You know, how did you collaborate as a team and come to the decision to go to India and kind of describe that process and all the ins and outs and the ups and downs?
So one of the first things that we kind of looked at to decide whether or not we should enter India is look at our competition. We have two of our teammates that are well versed in the Indian market and have experience in India. So they brought a very well insiders look into that market. We concluded that the competition really isn't there, and we saw that Fashion Corp can take a really good, chunk of that market space. So that's one of the ways. And then afterwards, we decided to separate the duties and obligations of the research to make sure that each outlook and possibility will be looked at.
What were some of the things that you found worked best in order to facilitate your communication with one another?
Okay, I would say something that helped us work together. Well, for me and the group, I paid attention to how everybody's thought process worked and their ideas. So we were very open to everyone's ideas, and we, based on that, based on everybody's different perceptions, we knew how to, communicate with each other and how to make the communication process easier for them.
And always, we had a lot of great ideas, but there was always a point where we had to make it one great idea. So there was a lot of mediation where we were able to take all of these different backgrounds, all of this intellect and experience, and make it into one great idea, which has mediation, and also just communication and listening to one another.
So who was the mediator?
And on top of the communication, we also put in the effort to meet outside of, as a team, as a unit, come to, hear everybody out, make sure everybody thinks their ideas expressed and nobody's being left out of the process.
Tell me about one unique time that you guys disagreed and what specifically led to a different decision as far as your solution.
One of the major times we may have disagreed with some celebrity. I know that sounds so weird, but it's just picking a celebrity personnel. We had Sheila and Aditi. They have so much experience already in the Indian market, so they're like, okay, this is who we are. But then we have us, and we're like, okay, but we think this. So we just had to look at what was the best way, and also just once again listening to everyone and just getting different ideas and what's going on.
Renee played a really good role whenever she just told us to step back, look at our audience, and which celebrity plays the biggest strength, and that's how we came to Mr. Carr.
Yeah, at first, we had many celebrities that we were taking into consideration, and we all liked them for superficial reasons. We didn't do intense research on each celebrity beforehand. We had a few on the platter, and then we took a step back and we researched each celebrity. Since I'm from an Indian background, I knew Shah Rukh Khan, and he's personally one of my favorite actors. But I like had to take a step back out of my away from my bias and do research on him and find out why he would logically make sense as our celebrity endorsement.
Would that include the number of his Twitter followers, if that's a thing for him? So.
Yes, we actually have a problem trying to find someone who could access Twitter because none of us really use Twitter. So we were trying to figure out, okay, who can get on Twitter to find out who has the most followers.
That's good.
Another thing is time schedule. When we're scheduling outside of PLP meetings, a lot of times everyone has work or has their own thing. So we really have to find out a good time where everyone can meet. So that was one of the things. So we worked it out.
And just to touch real quick basis with Mr. Khan, one thing that we actually looked at whenever we had a ladder full of different celebrities, we looked at who are they being sponsored by. So actually a couple of them, except for Mr. Khan, were being sponsored by different hair products or shampoo products. So we make sure we didn't, touch or double dip or any form. We make sure that Mr. Khan was an exclusive partner for Crash Support.
As a result of going through this process, what did you learn that you think is going to help you as you go forward in thinking of your scorecards, how you're going to accomplish those goals?
Yeah, sure. That throughout your journey and career, you're going to meet different people with different backgrounds, and there's going to be times you're going to disagree, and the one thing you should do is to just step back and listen to just have compassion and to understand from where they're coming from where you're coming from, and just make a decision based on that.
To add on to that, it was really interesting working with, throughout the semester with my cluster because I'm a TAM student, so I'm technically a senior in high school. At my old high school, it was a really large school with generic, same old classes with similar classmates. But here we have an age range from 16 to 23. We have science majors, we have business majors. And by being in this environment, I learned a lot more just from everyone, from their past experiences, that I feel like if I had not taken part in PLP, had I not applied, I wouldn't have learned these any other way.
And it was also just understanding, once again, how she said we're from different majors. He is a finance major, and sometimes he's really into the numbers, and we're all like, no. But just once again, we're gonna always work with different people. I'm in HR, so I'm gonna probably work from some science or STEM person. Now we're gonna have to take time to maybe learn a little bit about what they're doing, and them learning about me in order to communicate with them effectively.
Great. Thank you.
Very good job.
Okay, so the next group to present is my group.
So they literally do something like started and you were like,
What's the name on this? Christine?
What class do you belong to?
Christine. didn't have any presentations in the first group, and now we're, you know, we're 2 for 2, so in terms of PowerPoints. That's it.
I'll raise my hand at a minute, and then I'll raise my hand again in 30 seconds.
While they're setting that up, you want to tell us your majors?
I'm Caitlin Abraham. I'm a sophomore and a marketing major.
Stop on majoring in integrative studies and biology with a double minor in engineering.
Commander Jetty, I'm an international student. I'm a senior year, I graduated in May. I'm a communication studies major with minor in marketing.
I'm Chenna, I'm Backway. I'm a senior accounting major and a minor in social science.
And Armando Flores, I'm a senior with the major in marketing with a focus in professional selling.
My name is Tyler Allen. Majors marketing also with a professional selling concentration.
Christopher Taylor, majoring in logistics and supply chain management, senior.
Edgar Rangel, sophomore, major in entrepreneurship, minor in finance.
One more.
Oh, sorry. So Selena Alexander, major in Master in Business Administration.
Great.
We have one more on the side.
No, I'm sorry.
Isuri Soisa, I'm a sophomore and I'm majoring in business computing information systems.
So we decided it would be best to keep the product here in the United States where we can make a larger profit rather than taking it overseas to India. We would like to focus more on reinnovating the product and expanding the market. As far as finance goes, taking into account monsoon season, it would actually cost us more to transport the product overseas rather than keeping it here. There's also a larger market in the United States that we would like to conquer. And then we decided taking it to India would be a bigger risk rather than. In the area of marketing, we decided to focus more on our millennial generation as well as all genders across the board. Two ways that we're going to do this is one by focusing more on the YouTube celebrities. That's really going to focus on the millennial generation because that's what a lot of people are looking for nowadays. And whenever they're looking at the products that they're using on their videos, they're going to go out and buy those products. Secondly, we're also going to focus more on using our social media as well because that's not only going to be for the millennial generation, but as well as all generations.
From a technology standpoint, we'd like to allocate part of the budget to innovating the bottle, recycled raw materials, and the wine industry as referenced in research, as they are the golden standard in bottling and bottle design. We'd also like to include instructions for hair follicle stimulation, so that we may side marketing a study that shows correlation to reduced hair loss. All in all, we feel that there's a
Talking to me now.
best interest to move to India, as we found most of our competitors are already there, and in doing so, we won't perpetuate the problem.
Great. Very good.
Good use of Prezi, by the way.
Yes, it was, yeah, that's good. So another very diverse team, lots of different majors and you know, points of view. What challenges did y'all face in that? Somebody that hasn't been part of the presentation team. So what sort of challenges did you face and what did you learn from that?
Okay, so we have amazing ideas. During like the first 2 meetings, we were just throwing ideas like back and forth, and we just wrote them down. We had like making an app, like sort of like entrepreneurship ideas, and we were just going so big and broad. And then we're like, wait, we have a time limit. We're consultants. Let's bring it back, bring it back. And so we had to, put down a few ideas, and we kind of just worked together. We thought as a team, what is beneficial for us, and where we're going, and our goal, and our mission statement, what we're going to do. So.
It sounds like you thought you were communicating very well. Is there anything that happened during your meetings that demonstrated to you were engaging in effective and efficient communications?
I think something that happened during our meetings that we all did a very good job of is avoid groupthink. We all constantly play devil's advocate to each other's ideas. So when somebody brought up we should stay in India, I said let's not go to India, and then we discussed that. We really play devil's advocate so we could really find out really why we want to do something or why we don't want to do something, rather than we all just agree with one good idea that sounds simple, sound logical, and that way we can really find the crux of our issue and really just focus in on that.
And when we came up with all these different ideas, it was really interesting because you get like the one person's point of view, like, okay, this is why he's saying it. And then sometimes you're like, oh, I agree with him. So you change your idea instead of going with stay. And then another person is like, okay, that's really good. And so we kind of just went back and forth, but then collectively communicated and really came up with this like final decision. We even like voted, and we didn't ever put anyone down. We kind of was like, okay, your idea is really good. Why don't we just use that in this decision?
And then in my opinion, what we were doing also, it wasn't really that, like, in a sense structured. We were more like free. So it was okay to be wrong. It was okay to like share opinions that might have not been like cool, or like, wait, what are you doing at here? Or like, because I want to do like 3D printed thing, and they're like, oh, that's too weird. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. And just like getting back to the center, like, what's our goal? Because sometimes me and another members as well would go off and like this, we'll be in the skies flying, and then one of us would have to bring us back down and get us back to the purpose and what we're trying to do.
Tell me about a time you guys disagreed specifically to your decision and what led to resolving that.
One of the times we disagreed was probably the main one, was whether to go to India or not. And the way we debated that and talked about it is like questioning each other's opinions. So why is that you want to stay in the United States, and why is it you want to leave? And it just keep on questioning one another until we got to the root of why we were saying something. And if you couldn't back up what you were saying, then the other person's point of view was
So somebody with a finance or business backside, tell me the numbers that led you guys to changing the product design or the bottling.
So for the numbers that we had, we only had like a $50 million budget. And so for kind of the estimates that we got, it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense. We felt that, if we had declining sales in the US, we should have taken care of that problem first rather than taking a business risk to expand to a whole other country. So being able to save some of that money and focus more on how can we make more, just cutting down some of the materials costs and, like recycled plastic. That's just another way to kind of open up our margins a little bit because the margins weren't so good. So
We had already been seeing like declining in sales, and our profit margins were almost at zero, or they were at zero. So what we decided was, let's fix our problems here at home and in the other countries that we are in before we start branding out. And then when we started doing that, we started coming up with other ideas such as the recycling, such as the hair growth. And if we can take this product and then move it outside. So when she talked about earlier with our social media movement, we're going to try and appeal to more YouTubers, some more social media. And if we can appeal to YouTubers that are from India, such as like Aziz Ansari, like he's blowing up right now. And we have people in India who are watching Netflix, who watch Aziz Ansari's new Netflix original show. Or they look at YouTubers like Superwoman, who they look at these icons, these American icons who are from that country. And we already start to create a demand in their country. And if they really want it, they'll start shipping stuff over there. So we can create a demand and then go in once we see a demand. They're allocating more resources for that and creating a better functioning system where there is a demand.
As a result of going through the analysis and learning from the different points of view, what have you learned that you think is going to help you going forward?
I think it's really important to listen. I feel like at first all of us kind of were just talking, including myself because I'm a talker. And so we're all throwing out like all these different ideas, but then as you've heard from all of us, like we had to really start narrowing it down, and that was the hardest part. So, some of us would just stay quiet for a little bit and listen to someone's idea, and maybe someone's idea that was maybe a little bit quieter, then that would really help us in the long run because we weren't trying to just like cut them off and then not listen to what they're having to say.
I agree that listening is also a big part of it because like having different backgrounds and different views and everything, you have your idea that you're kind of like set with, but then you listen to somebody else's and you kind of see their point of view from it and it kind of changes up yours as well.
I also think that, okay, so for the go to India versus stay in US, even though your viewpoint is stay in US, like agree with the person saying go to India. Think of all the ideas of why it should be good to go to India. And so if you see, like, if you try to play your mind to see that side, you kind of see if your skin is a good stand. So I feel like in the future, if you have like a situation where somebody else is disagreeing with you, you can kind of see it from their point of view to see, oh, this is what they're seeing that I'm not seeing. So I think this case helped in that way. So I think that's what I take away from it.
Great.
Good job.
Thank you.
The next group to go is Xavier's requested.
Check that. Oh, man. Just like it's going Good job. Hey, what's going on, Andy? Good job. Nice work. Thank you. Oh, no, y'all on this team? Yeah.
You gotta get up
Yeah.
there. You don't get to sit.
No sitting. The very first group got away with that just because we didn't really know the protocol. We're good. Trust you.
Yeah, for the
Thanks. Thank you. No pressure.
So we understand that you all addressed issues with listeners, and within the next 2 years, you would like to see 3% growth in the market. Well, we recommend going to India, starting in the cities of Pune, Kolkata, and Bangalore, to remain within that $50 million budget that you've given us. By highlighting the 3 cities of Pune, Kolkata, and Bangalore, we believe that the size of the market that we can attain is $231.4 million. The reason why we chose these cities is because of the population, the opportunity to grow within the market, as well as the logistic opportunities available in the area. The map above actually shows the different income, the average income for the areas surrounding the cities that we recommend, and this actually strengthens our marketing strategy.
So for our marketing strategy, we recommended that we use 2 celebrities, Shah Khan and Tony Kapoor. The contract cost for Shah Khan was more than $6 million per contract, $480,000 for Tony Kapoor. We didn't want to do more than just use them on TV advertisements. We did want to have them use the social events to flush our product into the market. We also then found out that our total estimated marketing cost was $13.7 million. So then moving on to our cost and profit function, we then saw that from the information given to us from Fashion Report, our profit would only be $46.8 million. However, that would be over the $50 million budget that we were given. So we reevaluated and we thought that we came up with a new cost scheme where we would only get a profit of $17.4 million. However, we would be in the market and we would have got our product towards the areas that we wanted to go to. Any questions that you may have, that's always we would be happy to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First off, compliments on analyzing this at significantly greater depth and bringing very specific recommendations back. That's a little different than what we've seen. Not that anybody else has done it wrong, but that's an impressive first step. So you did bring a lot of data, very specific ideas on what your solution ought to be. How did we come to this decision point and not either of you two speaking? Sure. Someone else.
Cool. I think a big step for us was we actually had a guy come in for a lecture, I think 2 meetings ago, that talked about barriers a lot. I think the way we kind of came to this conclusion was that instead of really focusing on what we were limited to, that $50 million budget, we kind of went for ideally what we wanted to accomplish, and then looked at our restraints and kind of worked backwards from there. So we saw there's a lot of opportunity in India, and that was something we really wanted to pursue. So we kind of thought, how would we get out there? How would we be successful, what the market looks like? And we went back to that budget, how much it's going to cost, and really tailored what we wanted to do to those restrictions.
I think think also when we were using the issue tree, we really became more firm in our decisions. So at first, some of us might have been a little hesitant. And then after, again, using the issue tree and working out the problems through the format that the McKinsey piece brought, I think it definitely helped clarify that for us.
Were there specific communication methods that you found worked best to get through that issue tree?
And we met in person here at the cluster. We also talked through text as well, but, and we met outside the group as well. And I think as far as communicating,
I think, I think
we just talked through
the great way that we communicate is like whenever we showed up, we set goals for each one of us to get it done before the next meeting, or the next time we meet, just to make sure that we had the information already there for us to use and create more data to be able to provide with a better answer of why we should do this, why we shouldn't do this. And that does analyze the problem a lot better than we could have without the data that we had and that we had to look up
So
for.
if we do run into a roadblock, then we exercise and research after or outside, then brought it to the table, we discussed it there, and there it was.
Tell me about one specific problem that you guys had that you solved and what techniques you used to resolve it, or what led to that being resolved.
I can think of one, if you think about it, was I thought there's one where we're looking at logistics of getting the shampoo to India in order to actually manufacture it there. And one thing we had to discussion with, I remember, was we were thinking about if we had to bring it from America over, and we had to look at it, is it actually being produced in America, or is it being produced in China or in the country? And I think kind of conclusion we came to eventually was just it doesn't matter, we have logistics costs. We kind of to move forward from there, we said wherever it's specifically being produced from, we have this issue, we just dealt with it as a whole challenge rather than trying to hash out the arguments that were produced from, and look at that challenge from there.
I think the reason we got the biggest issue in that was because we all come from different backgrounds. I mean, we're all different majors, so we all see different things in different ways. So I mean, he's an engineer. We got marketing majors. We got logistics majors. So I mean, I'm gonna look at finance. I'm gonna look at the logistics cost. How we're gonna do this that way. They're gonna look at it like, hey, this is how we're gonna look at the cost. Marketing's gonna think about how we're gonna sell the product there. How we're gonna get people to buy it. And we all have different backgrounds, we all get different points on why we should spend money there and why we shouldn't spend money there. And that, I mean, that was a big barrier.
Through this experience, what are you taking away that is going to help you accomplish your goals, both personal and then as you get out in your careers?
I think a big thing that we can all take from this is how to give constructive feedback to each other. Of course, some ideas, I'm not going to say any are better than others, but if we go with the first idea that's thrown out because we're too afraid to criticize someone, we might be led astray. So I think something we really got out of this was the ability to, compliment what they did well, kind of identify what they could improve on or maybe a different perspective we could take. Again, support their effort and that they're doing the right thing, but really make sure that we are thinking critically and we are working for the best answers as a collective.
Also the decision process that was in the McKinsey case, that's something that I think you can carry on to other situations.
I think that helped me to also understand, helped me to learn to listen to people who are different majors, different perspectives, because there's things like, people who are marketing, really think about the fact that there's American brands there, so how we can face those challenges, what we're doing differently. As an engineer, I mean, I have all those aspects of the marketing and business side of things, so it's a good thing to kind of give me a perspective to assist and.
Very good.
Thank you.
Did we get this through? No. Yeah, let's do that quick.
My name is Tony Thompson, I'm a student studying business communications.
My name is Bonnie Ferris. I'm a political science major with a minor in professional selling and a senior.
My name is Sergio Garcia. I'm a senior and I'm a double major in marketing and logistics supply chain.
I'm Calvin Fletcher, I'm a major in mechanical engineering technology and senior.
I'm Jacqueline Aminella. I am a major in business computer information systems.
I'm Colby Cameron. I'm an accounting major with a focus in taxation, and I'm a grad student.
I'm Thomas Doherty, I'm a finance major with a professional selling minor, and I'm a junior.
I'm Breck Warren. I'm an interdisciplinary art and design studies student. I'm a senior and I'm concentrating in designing
I'm Nacha, and I'm in a dual degree program, one from UNT, which is finance, and another from China is international business.
Great. Thank y'all.
Our next group to present is Berkeley.
Sure you guys watched
Someone feet. Play cake. We're still behind the
Ready? Do you want to introduce yourself as they get things teed up?
Okay, I'll start. My name is Rachel Liu. I'm a junior.
Alex Eldiad, marketing senior.
Alexis Reed, marketing and finance major, senior. Laura Crowell, accounting major, junior. Miranda Flores, I'm a junior studying biology.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I am a master's student studying international studies.
I'm Thais Pimentel, I'm a senior interior design.
I'm Clara. I'm an interdisciplinary art and design major focusing in graphic design, and I'm senior.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm a senior, and I'm double majoring in anthropology and applied behavior analysis.
I'll give you guys a hand in a minute and hand it over in a second.
Recently, we were given the opportunity to assess the viability of the Indian hair care market. On further consideration, we definitely recommend that Fashion Corp move to the Indian market as Holly Shampoo. The Indian market represents over 1 million potential customers. And an opportunity for Fashion Corp to be successful. We believe that Fashion Corp will be successful in the Indian market, given that over 50% of the population, meaning 500 million individuals, are under the age of 54. So research shows that this demographic are attracted to Western brands, and there's currently no Western shampoo brand with major play in the Indian market. So we also identified 2 major obstacles to this move, but rather than allow Fashion Corp to forgo this opportunity, we devised 2 solutions.
India's hair care market has been growing at a rate of 17% a year for the last 5 years, and the expected rate is expected to continue to grow in 2021. So for our first obstacle, which was our manufacturing cost, we decided to implement flexible manufacturing, and we plan to do that by creating sachets for our products. Sachets will keep down our distribution costs and our manufacturing costs, and also they're user-friendly and have been successful in other countries as well as with other major brands. So for our second obstacle, we decided, which was our marketing strategy, we decided to use celebrity endorser, Mrs. Rye, who's also known as the most beautiful woman in the world, and also the selfie queen, so she's in social media really heavy. And she's been celebrity endorser for other major brands such as Pepsi and Revlon. So we feel she's a good fit for our brand.
Studies show that internet use, specifically mobile internet social media use, is increasing in India. Utilizing an internet-based marketing strategy and the selfie queen, we believe will allow Fashion Corp to keep marketing costs so low while accessing the target demographic. Finally, our profit calculations summarized with we calculated a profit of over $54 million in the first year alone. Being that our strategies are based in a growing market and utilizing a growing technology, we estimate that in future years.
So what was the decision-making process for y'all's team? Did you do that here? And how did that iterate over the course of time? And what was the time window? I haven't asked that question tonight. How long have you been working on this?
It's been about 3 or 4 weeks now. We definitely utilized our cluster time here on Wednesdays, and then we took the opportunity to meet outside of cluster time as well. We were definitely a group that threw out a lot of ideas, and then we kind of had to buckle down and be like, okay, let's make some decisions. And I think that the McKinsey structure really helped with that.
When did you make the final decision?
Kind of throughout, we definitely decided that we wanted to go into the Indian market toward the beginning. One of the decisions that kind of took the longest was deciding on whether to use the sachets or not. So that was.
What do you think were the best elements of communication on display during your interactions with one another?
I think one of our best communications and problem-solving things that we did is someone would throw out an idea and then we would investigate it. We would do the math on all of it. For example, the sachets, we broke down milliliters and the cost per milliliter and the bottles, and then we moved into sachets. And so we kind of took each person's idea and investigated it to see which one fit our goals and what we wanted to do for moving into the Indian market and along those lines.
Tell me about one particular conflict or one particular time you guys disagreed and how you chose to approach it and resolve it.
I think, like I said, the sachets was not a point of contention, but there were definitely people on both sides. And so in the end, we just took it down to a vote. There were definitely pros and cons for using sachets and not using sachets. And in the end, we decided that the pros for sachets really won out.
So what did you learn that you're going to be able to take away from this to help you in the future?
I'd say one thing that I learned is just being able to hear everyone's point of view. Everyone has a different background, as we said before. Just how people have different majors, so how that play into the decision that we will make. Just using those things, and when you go into the real world, you're going to be working with different people. So just being able to understand where they're coming from, their background, and just be able to put those things together and just use that to get to that goal that you want to get to.
It's good to hear constructive criticism too.
I think for me, it was the decision-making process. Whenever I get a project, I tend to jump on it and go with what I'm excited about and just move on. And this really helped me slow down, and we definitely were able to hear everybody's ideas and use the structure of McKinsey case to really help us with the ideation process.
And I think also, working in a group together, we kind of learned each other's strengths and weaknesses really early in the process. So I think we really fed off of that as well. We were able to delegate tasks off of other people's experiences or other people's knowledge of a certain area and come to solid conclusions.
Okay, thank you.
Great job.
Good job.
Our final group is Caroline's cluster.
Zachary, how are you, brother?
What's this cluster's name?
It's Caroline's cluster.
Caroline. Give us just a minute to finish up our evaluation.
Zach, sure you know, hand up that 30.
All right, my name is Zach. I'm here to present on behalf of Caroline's cluster. So the decision here on the floor tonight is we're trying to decide whether or not we should expand into the Indian market or stay here at home. With this, we were given a $50 million budget. The projection that we made with that budget is that we were going to come back with $46.8 million in 2 years. Given that our chief goal is growth, that's not quite what we're aiming for, and we started to wonder maybe we were asking the wrong question. So the next point that we're going to move on to is going to be presented by Aisha.
Good evening, everyone. Before we decided whether or not to take our business to the Indian market, we decided to take a look at some numbers. We found by taking pulls from Amazon India and found the average cost of a chocolate bottle was $3.50. We also decided to go to the World Bank website and found that only 48% of the Indian population makes about $3.10 per day, which doesn't leave a lot of the Indian population to target as customers. I'm going to pass it on to my teammate now to talk more about decisions.
Hey guys, so basically the question today is, does Fashion Corp move to India or do they stay in the U.S. market? Well, initially our problem stated and why we would even go to India is because the growth in the U.S. market has halted. Well, I think we need to fix the problem here first before we take a risk and go into the Indian market. How should we do this though? Okay, well, we have success with the younger generation already, so we need to market and cater more to the older generation. And we need to also outsource and cut costs in raw material. The future of India is a great opportunity, but our future is in jeopardy if we don't fix our problems here first.
We didn't get y'all to introduce yourselves, so if you would do that, so we kind of understand everybody's background.
I'm Noma Foro, senior, BCS major.
I'm Aisha, senior electrical engineer, math minor.
My name is Zachary Green. I'm a finance major and I'm a senior.
Maldivo, senior, major in biology, minor in marketing and professional selling.
Jennifer Murray, I am a sophomore and I'm majoring in marketing and real estate.
Jonathan Best, I'm a biology junior.
Eduardo Limon, major electrical engineering, minor mathematics, senior.
Darrell Dolphin, I'm a marketing major junior.
Great, thank you. So, team dynamics, somebody besides these three, talk about team dynamics and some of the opportunities and challenges that you faced. So, anybody?
Okay, so we have a really really great group dynamics. We have a finance guy, we have engineers, biology majors, marketing majors, professional selling majors. So kind of getting all those people like in one group and trying to like shoot ideas back and forth was kind of difficult. But we kind of used a process of everyone kind of we really listened to each other and like weighed out the options and then kind of pro and con everyone's ideas.
Anybody else?
Well, one thing we also had to overcome kind of was the fact that we're all leaders here, and so we all have a lot of strong and opinionated ideas, and once we kind of get our feet wet, we're like, okay, this is what we want to do, but we also have to step back and be like, okay, maybe this is not the place for me to lead. Let me let someone else lead and take charge, because maybe they have a little bit more information on this than I do, and I can learn something from them. And then after we take that information, then we can come back together and come back as a group to make our decisions.
We also had a tough decision actually making the decision. We had a vote, and it was 4-4, and one of our group members wasn't here. So
Oh, gosh.
it was a kind of like split the vote. He was like, if one of y'all sell me on it, I'll go to that group. So, we lost because I wanted to go to India, which is hard.
Given that you all are leaders, what communication methods did you find work best so that you could hear everybody's ideas?
So we actually utilize a lot of technologies because we all have pretty hectic schedules. So we really utilize those so that we could have our cluster time. But we also use collaborative technology like Google Docs so we could get on there together and kind of like see everyone doing everything at once and kind of talk to each other. We also really use GroupMe and like sending each other like notes, information, shooting ideas back and forth, scheduling times, doing that kind of stuff.
We did meet about science. We had like the three of us that had plans to move the travel.
You kind of I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you could tell. Nice.
You kind of led into it. Tell me a little bit about the pitch that made you change your mind. Whoever changed your mind, I want to know exactly what it was that made you change your mind.
Well,
He's a kingpin.
It really all started because one of our members weren't there, so I took the initiative. It was 4-on-4, and I just decided. I told the U.S. market people what really would make me want to stay here. They told me that there's too much risk in India, really. And when you're building something here in the U.S. market, we're second or third in the market share already. So we need to just fix what we have here and then go there. India was a really good opportunity too, because it's a new market. Shampoo can be really big. We have the celebrities as well. We can build on that. We also had, I think it was her last name was Rye, and she has blue eyes, so we can make a blue shampoo. It'll be a cool little dynamic to have too. But I just thought, you know what, time's running out. Realistically, time's running out, so we need to choose something. And I like the U.S. market. So.
One thing that also definitely helped us making our decision was we took an approach to it as, would this be an opportunity that we would consider putting our job on the line for? It was very important to us that if we were going to make this decision, it's a big decision, so we really wanted to make sure that the value was correct. Would we put our job on the line for this? Is this an opportunity that we're willing to take? Are we willing to maybe lead this company that we feel comfortable with? And if it was that good of a decision to make.
I assume you all went into this with certain expectations, which probably weren't all met, and there were probably some surprises. Of those surprises, what did you learn that you think is going to help you going forward?
Well, I want to get into IT consulting actually. That's my major, and this is my first time ever really doing a consulting type group project and implementing it to a huge amount of people. So this is my first experience, and I learned a lot from it. I learned how to presentate to people, talk to people, get their opinions, and then project it to other people as well.
I'd also just like to add, and this is one of my first times really working. I've done another presentation style competition before, but it's all finance guys. It's all finance people, finance and accounting people. So this was really an awesome opportunity to work with some people that aren't even in the business school and really kind of see the way that their minds work and how they would just absolutely challenge 100% whatever I was saying or what you might have said. It was just interesting seeing how it all came together and how everybody actually legitimately cared what the other person had to say. So that was really awesome.
All right, for me it was more, I'm too stuck on a certain thing. Like when they want to go to the United States, I'm like, y'all really have to convince me like why we have to stay here. But I'm still stuck on this India thing. Because I'm a marketing major, so I feel like, you change your marketing mix a little bit, change the name because the name holds a lot of weight, even though you change the product or bottle in India, it's still that same name, so people still gonna remember about the name, it's still the same thing. So and I was just thinking about that like a few minutes ago because I heard somebody talk about like the growth of the market and stuff like that, but yeah, I still want to
For me, I'm an optimistic person and like a dreamer. So being around people who are like finance guys and engineers who like look at real numbers, hard data, it's made me yeah.
Crush your dreams, huh?
They know how I am. But yeah, it's made me more empathetic towards other people's perspectives, point of views, ideas, and definitely a better listener for me.
Great job.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm fixing to open a shampoo company in India right now.
You see there's $3 a day for caffeine.
Yeah, we're not gonna get, it's like chips. You're not gonna get a whole bag of chips. You're gonna get a chip bag with half of them full of shampoo. Perception.
Okay, everyone, so here are some of the important dates we have coming up. Please take note of these in your calendars. On October 18th, we have the U Dress where Billy and Rachel will be speaking, and we have another slide on that. October 21st is going to be our PLP social at Main Event. It's going to be pretty cheap. We have another slide on that also. November 2nd is going to be our mid-year review, so please run your calendars and try to make it to that, and let your SD know as soon as possible if you have any conflicts. November 8th is the Risk Management and Insurance Career Fair. If you haven't been to a career fair yet, and you're in this one of these majors, please attend that. This is more about the U Dress. Billy and Rachel are going to be speaking on professional dress. This would be really good to attend. It's October 18th, 3:30 to 4:30 in the Union. And then this is more about our social. It's going to be $8 to $10 per person. Start time at 7 p.m. It's in Louisville. And then business after hours mid-year review. You can take down the information for that as well. 5:30 to 7:30, just like last time. Make sure you do sign up for the bus if you're wanting to ride the bus. It's going to leave at 4:30 outside the BLB in the same place as last time. And then we are doing another drive. This time it's going to be canned food. So if you bring 10 cans, it'll count as 1 hour towards your volunteer hours. So remember, you do have to have 4. 2 of your volunteer hours can come from outside organizations, but at least 2 of them have to be from PLP, and you need 4 in total. So these are our upcoming opportunities for volunteer. So make sure to get those. Those are due by November 16th. Yes?
If we donated to the animal shelter one, can we donate to this one for an hour?
Yes, you can. So this is our total so far for the animal shelter donations. We got $629.78. So thank you all for your contributions. Our next cluster lunches, October October 19th, Callie and Xavier at noon, BLB room 115. That's the conference room past the PLP office. And then November 9th, Andy and Christina's clusters are going to have their lunch, and that one's going to be at 11 a.m. And then we have some shout outs. So Austin French got an internship with PepsiCo. Is he in the 46? Bonnie Paris. Bonnie, come right up. And then Colby Cameron got an internship with Grant Congratulations. And Fidel got an internship with DHL.
First of all, you can help me. Thanks to please wear your name tags on the right side. There are people missing with no name tags. We give it for a reason. For bringing the meeting, please. Caesar, I got one for you in the back. Cool. Here you go.
Thank you, guys.
It's great meeting you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Good to see you again.
I'd like to give to Chris Scott You want you in? No? No.
Alex got me dead.
No, look, let's grab somebody on here. They know what they're doing. Hey,